crank arm on it. Spins freely, so it's probably not that middle gear that's broken or the final gear. We're gonna turn it on. Gotta plug your battery in to turn it on. So you hear the drive spinning in there, but the motor's not spinning. So that's almost definitely a peak gear. Now you got to get this spider off. This is the part that holds the chainring on. For that you need the big lock ring tool. And this is reverse thread, so righty loosey, lefty tighty. So I'm going to spin it clockwise to take this off. Spider off. Take the controller bolts off. All right, one thing you always want to check is that you have a gasket on here. You always want to check that there's not two gaskets. If you have two gaskets, the spacing between the magnet and the controller will make it not work right. Just be sure you have one gasket on there. Number 220. Case just came right off. So you want to inspect this, make sure the teeth are all fine on this, which they are. Take off this little snap ring. Take off the final gear. Flathead screwdriver. Just pry from right here, it should come right out. You see your peak gears all chewed up right there. Now a really important part of this is getting all the stuff, all the broken peak gear out of the motor. And then another thing, whenever these drives get open, you want to check to see that this magnet's glued into place. So do your best to try to spin it. Spin it with a pig. You can even put a magnet on top of it, see if you can lift it out. So that magnet seems to be glued in there pretty good. See how I'm getting little pieces of plastic out? And you'll notice there's a good amount of it on the core. So you want to get all that off. We got a big piece right there. It also helps to spray a little alcohol on there. Hit it with some air. rubbing alcohol gets down into the motor, it'll just evaporate. Alright, so that's clean enough. Next we gotta clean all the chewed up gear off of this. I guess we're kind of saving these as souvenirs. You can tell it's only the thin ones that are having issues. Mm-hmm. You can tell the thin ones because you can see the bearing at the top. The updated ones, you can't see the bearing. So if we're ever replacing these, be sure you're putting the thicker style one in it. So far we've only had issues with the thinner style. Again, you want to just clean, make sure there's no plastic on here. Be sure you got your little wavy washer, that's going to stay right in there. This middle gear, the part that fails on this middle gear is the clutch. It's a one-way clutch, so it'll only spin freely one direction. Usually this just seizes up. So if you can't spin this freely like this, there's an issue with this, or if you can spin it both directions, it's broken. You'll never see a broken teeth on here, at least I never have. Alright, so you want to kind of reinstall these at the same time. Just do it by hand, you don't really want to force this down. Then we're back to greasing again. You also want to get this secondary teeth all greased up. So you can see you got plenty of grease in all the teeth. And just be patient with this. Don't ever like force it down with a hammer. If you really can't get it, come find me and I'll help you. Kind of work its way into place. Some are easier than others. And another thing I should mention, you want to be real careful not to pinch any of these wires in between here when you're doing this. It can be pretty easy to get these pinched and then you just made a whole lot more trouble for yourself. And that's the go. Whatever binds up, just take it back out and start again. There we go. Alright, so I checked, I'm not pinching any wires. If you do pinch any wires, obviously you got to repair them properly. You wouldn't want to just twist them back together. Final gear back on. quite dropping into place. There we go. You'll know it's in place if you're able to put this on. Alright, so once you got your snap ring back into place, you're just going to put the case back on the top. Once again, be sure you're not pinching any of these wires. And it's 3 bolts on the top, 3 bolts on the back.
Are you doing a gear video?
Showing them repairs.
A gear swap?
Yeah.
The one the big tutorial I did?
There's been vast improvements since then.
Okay.
There's a lot of little tricks we've learned.
Okay.
Alright, last step is controller, and then whenever you take this controller off, you're going to need to connect it to best again, like I just showed you, and recalibrate it. But if you get an obvious gear like that, you're pretty sure you fixed the issue.
So those are plug and play except for those 2 small
It
ones.
will let you plug them into the wrong one, but if you do that, it won't even turn on.
Okay.
It's unfortunate that they did that, but yes, it will let you plug it in wrong. Alright, now like I said, unless you're really good with an impact, these are delicate little T10s. So when I first have you do this, I'm just going to make you use hand tools.
Okay.
Is this really a gear swap video?
We did a magnet swap or a magnet re-glue video. This one had a bad peak gear, showing them that.
I'm not gonna lie. I did a really good peak gear install video.
It was good at the time. There's so many tricks we've learned to get it open faster now. The video part was great. The me doing it part shows like dated techniques.
Oh, what, the shimmying the gear out?
Getting the gear out of that thing is so much easier now. We've learned like such an easy way to just like
What do you guys do now?
pop. Alright, don't forget your spider. Customer sent it to us with a spider. We sent it back without a spider. We just wasted 3 weeks of his time. And again, lefty tighty, righty loosey. So this is reverse. Reverse, you want that really tight. You don't want this coming loose. Most customers don't have this tool, so if it does come loose, they're not going to be able to tighten it. Then you would just follow the steps like in our
Last
video I just made where we calibrated.
Okay. Same steps as the last one.